Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be continuing on with the decluttering and organizing by putting together all the plants I'm going to be selling very soon. I had fully planned on this week's video being my DIY pond video because I asked you guys in last week's video if you guys were interested in DIY pond, and a lot of people said you were, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll film it. I was going to do it regardless. But then I realized I don't even have all the components. I thought I did, but then I remembered that I used a bunch of my pumice, like all of my pumice in an outdoor planter. So I have to go stock up on a couple of things. So while I'm waiting for that to happen, we are going to go through my whole collection here in the plant room. All of my props and all of my seedlings and even some of my like one-off personal plants that I may not be holding on to. And I want to put together at least one big bin, if not more, of plans to be sold later this week. I will leave the details of the sale in the description because it's not 100% hammered out yet, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a live sale this time, unfortunately. Usually me, Jing, and Charmaine do a live sale on Jing's Instagram, Mom and Plants, but this time around, I don't know if we're going to be able to get our like schedules aligned. Mainly them. I'm the only childless one, so I'm pretty flexible, but we can't really figure out a day and a time of day where we can all meet together. So we'll probably fungus nut. We're probably just gonna do a website restock on Jing's website, but at least I figured in this video you'll be able to see some plants like kind of in a moving way and be able to see a little preview of what's going to be restocked. By the way, we just shipped to Canada and the US. If you're in Europe, I'm so sorry. We looked into shipping to Europe and it is intense. Like the phytosanitary process, it takes months and it's very, very, very expensive. So unfortunately we don't do that, but most of you guys watching are American, and if you don't know already, the Canadian dollar right now is really, really weak. So it's like an extra discount for you guys. So I already have a few plants in mind that I want to kind of declutter. The added benefit of this is because last week I did clear some space in my exos when I did my cleanup, but I will clear up more space today because later today, Charmaine's coming over with all my plants that she brought back from California. And I just will feel better knowing there's like an abundance of space for them to go into, and all the plants that are leaving will be in just one bin that I can just stick behind me under lights. So I already have a couple of plants in mind that I'm just going to get rid of the whole thing, and then we're going to go through each one of my prop boxes one by one, and then I'll be able to rearrange things once some space is made. So this first one has been kind of teetering on the edge of being purged for quite a long time, and I was trying to wait until it kind of recovered a bit, and it has, but I can see some rotten roots in here. So what I'm going to do is after I'm done filming, I'm going to get in there and just chop up all the rotten roots and pot it up in clean substrate and give it a week or so because the website restock's not going to happen for a while. Make sure that it's stabilized and then it'll be ready for sale. So this one is a Dark Phoenix crossed with Rothline and Fort Sherman. It does look quite different from my other one. My other one's a lot more, I think, Dark Phoenix leaning. It has a little bit more taller, like bunny lobes. This one has more of a wide sinus and it's like pointy little ears, which I thought was quite interesting. I really like this, but I don't see myself gravitating towards it and like checking on new growth and stuff. And I don't know that I would super miss it if it was gone. And these are like the difficult decisions that I need to make because I've been making a lot of easy decisions like getting rid of Hoyas, getting rid of philodendron, the ones that I just don't notice them anymore. Now we're getting to the territory of making difficult decisions that I don't necessarily want to make. But if I think about it, what I need the most is space for the plants I adore to pieces to grow into the specimens that I want them to grow into. And right now things are just way too smushed. So a lot of stuff like this that I quite like, but I'm not obsessed with, I think are going to be purged. It does have a lot of healthy roots. I can see it's really full of roots in here. It just needs a little bit of a cleanup. Another one that is a little bit difficult for me to part with as well is this one. So this one is an Ace Carla prop. This was a stump, so Charmaine has the mother plant and I grew it into this. Actually, it grew 2 growth points and that one was its own plant and I already sold the other prop. This is the only one I have left. This one also has like 1 rotten root in here, but it has a lot of healthy ones because it was sitting in a lot of water when I went away and I think that's it, but it's not showing any signs of distress because of that 1 rotten root. So I might not even repot this one. I'll just let it dry out a little bit. The reason why I'm contemplating even selling this is because I have another one and I think I like this one more. And this Ace Carla is from my friend Amanda, or Bunny, but this I believe was made by Juan. So this one was also a little stump cutting prop, but I think I'm gonna like the characteristics of this one a bit more. This one's a bit more bumpy. I think the veins, when they come in, are quite pink because GPH was the Carla used in this hybrid. So it has a little bit more interest to me. This is so pretty though. And it's growing a little bit easier. This one is a little bit slower, but I just think I will love this one more. So because I have two technically of the same hybrid, I'm more okay with parting with this one. If I didn't have this one, I would definitely keep this one, but because I have this one can go. And I also have to consider that like if I really wanted more Ace Carla, I can still make more Ace Carla. My Ace is flowering, my Carla is flowering. So this next one should show you how serious I am about decluttering. I'm not 100% sure I want to do this, but this red crystallinum. So this one was a Wu 5 Self that I bought last spring. It just put out this leaf and it's so cute. It's not like a super high color red crystallinum. This is the fully hardened off leaf, but it has been like really easy going for me. It has been growing like the fastest of all my red crystals, but it's probably the lowest color. It's not like not red. You can definitely see the emergent leaves are quite pink and the veins are really pretty. I am on the fence about it. I'm definitely on the fence about it, but this is one I'm considering getting rid of because I have now 1, 2, 3, like 6 red crystallinum, and I'm committed to selling at least one. So I'm not sure if it's going to be this one or a different one. This is definitely like the biggest, strongest. Oh, it's kind of a nuisance to ship though. At the start of this video, I was like, yeah, that's gonna go. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is gonna be kind of annoying to ship. You know, I think I changed my mind. We're gonna keep this one. This leaf, this color is just, I know it's not gonna stay on the plant very long, but it's just, I'm liking it. I'm enjoying myself too much looking at it. So, okay, this one's gonna go back. Okay, so this one I'm definitely not selling, but I need to show it to you. Oh my goodness, look at this leaf. This was the Carla that I picked up at IAS. This is from the Homebody, but it was bred by Phil from Stelmar Gardens. I freaking love it so much. So this was the leaf that it had when I first got it, and I just loved how like droopy, thin, and spidery it was. I saw that on the Homebody Purge on Palm Street, and I'm like, I have to have it. So she let me pick it up at IAS, and I have loved it so much ever since. It has not been the fastest growing one. It's not like a big robust thing like my Wu 1 Self. And it was in a prop box. And when I came out of it, it looked like crazy thrips damage, but I couldn't find any thrips on any of the plants, like no thrips damage, nothing on the plants that it was in the box with. But I sprayed it with Spino, and the new leaf is just insanely beautiful. I'm so excited for this one because Phil's Carla, the mother plant, is insane. It's so pretty. I've never seen a Carla like this. This is Josh's photo because Josh went to visit Phil and he took that photo, and they called it the big Carla because he says it's massive. I think it looks really big in the photo. I can't say for certain like how many inches that leaf was, but Phil was selling at IAS and he had basically like of his mother plants, instead of bringing the mother plant to the show, he just cut off a leaf of each mother plant and they kept it in water. So whenever you're interested in looking at mother plants, they can just pick up that one leaf and show it to you. And those leaves are really big. I can't tell you for certain how big it was, but I want to say it was at least like the size of my torso. And that was a clone of one of Rory's wild collected Carlas. And then the Poland parent also was another Rory Carla, I think. Phil basically breeds with a lot of Rory plants and Tim Anderson plants, but I don't think he does like online sales so much. But if you want any of his plants, the Homebody is where to get them. I would not be surprised if they had more of these or would have more of them in the future. Oh, but this leaf is just making me so happy right now. I've been craving a new Carla leaf. And as I'm looking through the rest of my tent, I can't find any plants that I definitely want to get rid of. So we only got 2 plants out of the tent, which is actually probably not that surprising because this is where like my most beloved plants go. So I'm just gonna chuck some plants back in here and we're gonna move on to the prop boxes. Also, can you look at my red crystallinum? It's getting so big. It doesn't look big in the viewfinder. Let me just tilt you down. This is like the size of it next to my hand. This is probably the last leaf is gonna grow in this spot because I'm gonna have to move it. And I really don't want to move it into ambient, but I probably will. It's just like filling up that whole entire corner. And then in terms of seedlings, I'm gonna be letting go of some of my Carla Beveps. I've had a pretty good time with these seedlings. Like, they're putting out their second leaves now. The vast majority of them germinated, and I think I'm gonna let go of maybe like 15 to 20 of them. I haven't decided yet. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start potting them up individually, like especially in these communal pots. These ones I'm gonna start potting up first. You can see a lot of roots down here. I have 2 of these communal pots. This one looks half full because I started pulling from them already when I was sending Christmas gifts out. So I'm gonna prioritize getting from these first, and then I'll let these ones grow out because they're individual cells. I'm gonna start potting them up starting from the largest ones. So anything that has like a fully hardened, like big fat leaf like that. So I'm just gonna, like, as a repot, kind of gauge how many I have left and see how many I wanna let go of. I really wanna grow a lot of them out because I wanna see how many of them are very heavy on the Carla. So this is Carla Wu Oneself by Carla Bevep, which is GPH by Round. And I really wanna see if any of them have any sort of that GPH look. But I've seen other Carla Bevep or Carla Bevep by Carla crosses, and a lot of them, almost everyone that I've seen looks like a straight up Carla. So I feel like this could be an opportunity for someone to get something that looks just like Carla, maybe a little bit more minimal on the veins for a not Carla price. I'm just gonna leave these 2 communal pots to the side, and I'll be repotting this off camera, which I like doing and I also don't like doing. I have to be in the right mood for it. I have to have the right podcaster put out the right podcast for me to like be motivated to do it. Another thing that helps is if someone's doing a live that I like listening to. By the way, if you're not following Paulina and Josh's new Palm Street account and their Instagram, I will leave them in the description because Paulina and Josh are my favorite streamers on Palm Street by far. Like, they're just easy to hang out with. They don't pressure you to buy anything. Actually, half the time they're not even selling anything anymore. They're just kind of like, as Paulina says, they're just yapping. Sometimes I will join a live and they've got this like whiteboard and they're just talking about like plant nerdy things, and it's not even anything to do with plant sales. So if you're not following them, they have their own, they're doing it from home. All of their little seedlings, their breeding projects, I will link them in the description, but their handle is phyto rot. So this little batch of seed, I just need to tell you about this. This I did maybe a week ago. Look how tiny these seeds are, and they're all germinating. So this was a spontaneous self by my obtusum narrow-form, which I would bring down for you, but it is like rooted into the wall of my tent, so I can't. It is so out of control. I'm just gonna put in some B-roll. This is my obtusum narrow-form. This is the one that had like the pearlescent booby berries, and I noticed the other day that like the peduncle of the infructescence was starting to change color, like it changed into like a kind of orangey pinky color. So I was like, okay, they're probably ready. So I pulled one off and it came off really easily. And then I was chatting with Owen at the time and he was like, taste it. It was the strangest thing. I don't taste berries, but he's like, I like to taste all my berries, and he kind of keeps a mental log of like tasting notes of the berries. And he said the Wenlingeri berries didn't really have any flavor. So I tasted one. It was the most bizarre thing. It tasted like faintly nothing, but it was like a jello consistency. It was kind of vile. And also like just the berry was so round. I kind of have trypophobia and it just grossed me out so much. The spadix was like this really, really super pink color. It's kind of like almost fleshy colored, and then the berry left behind this giant gaping hole, and it looked almost like an eaten corn on the cob, but it was pink, and then the kernels were like pearly white translucent little things. It was so weird. And then each berry had maybe like 4 seeds inside each one, but the casing of the berry was really thick, so it would just hold on to its shape, and it would just be like these like empty white sacks at the end. It was so bizarre. I would never do that purposely again, but it selfed itself again. I can see another set of berries on that plant. So anyway, so this is a lot of obtusum narrow-form seeds that I don't have space for. I don't know if anyone will want to buy this whole thing on its own. There's more than 100 seeds in here. Like, it's so much. That's definitely not going to go on the website restock this time around, but I wanted to show it to you guys because it was so bizarre. Next, I'm going to go through my seedling shelf. So I have a few domes in there, some bins of seedlings and props and stuff. We're going to go through them one by one. What I want to do is I want to consolidate things. So I want one dome to be just my personal plants because I have some seedlings growing in there, and then one dome to be just props that are ready to be sold, gifted, traded, whatever. There might be a dead plant or two in there that I can get rid of. So I want to make some space in there because I do have some seedlings coming in later today. And I'd like for it to just go straight into an empty spot. Okay, I brought both domes over. Okay, starting with this one. So this plant, it was a dicey cut and it shows. So this one is a cutting of my NSE contaminated Carla. It had made an offset and I just cut it off too soon. And it has been looking like this for, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. It's just been curly. It's not pushing any growth. It definitely has a viable node, but it just doesn't want to do anything. So this is not a personal plant, but it's not going to be sold anytime soon. This is also going to go in the non-personal trade. This one is a BVEP stump that I don't know if it ever is going to do anything. I've harvested 2 little props off of it and I just don't know if it has any more viable nodes left. Like, it has not activated anything since, but sometimes you just never know. So I'm going to hold on to it until it just disintegrates. This is a personal plant. This one is from Josh and it is a PAP by Pap Voldemort. He had sent us 3 seedlings, one for me, one from Charmaine, one for Jing, but it ended up being 4 seedlings. So I have 2 of them here, but these are not for sale. It's funny because it's like 2 leaves, but it's already so big for a seedling. So maybe this one I'll designate as the personal one. This one is not a personal. Oh, it put out a leaf. Oh, it's ready for a repot. This one is Fort Sherman Ralph Lynam. I'm going to put a picture of like what it was cut from here. It took a really long time for it to get to even to this size. It's such a pretty pap. It's super blue toned. I'm going to repot it into a taller cup because you can see how much of it is above the substrate. The original stem, look how far above the substrate is. I don't know if it pushed itself up from the roots. I don't think I would have potted it this high, like a whole finger's width away from the soil. So I'm gonna keep this to the side because it will be for sale. I just need to repot that. This is another personal one. This one is Carla Pap by Portier Dorito. This is another one from Pauline and Josh. I believe they are still selling seedlings from this batch, so make sure you check them on Palm Street if you're looking for this. Mine is still very small, so I haven't seen any characteristics out of it, but I'm very eagerly awaiting that. This one is definitely a personal one. This is my FTG crystallinum from NSE Tropicals. This one has been rooting quite well. Once I repot it, it will just move out of the dome, but I'm not in a hurry to move this out. This one is definitely a personal one. This is Red Crystallinum Dreamweaver by Necromancer. Look at that new leaf. It's so bright, like fuchsia pink veins. So exciting. And then this one is a prop that's for sale. This one is a green forum queen. I repotted my queen and I just chopped the bottom off. I honestly thought that this prop was just gonna disintegrate because I just don't think that, based on other people's experiences, Rockweenum props that well. It's growing. It's not ready for sale yet, but it is growing. So this will go into the prop dome. My camera is overheating. I'm going to be right back. So this tray is going to be personal, and then moving on to the next dome. This is, I want to say, oh, it's mostly personal. Okay, this one is going to be so pretty. This is Porte by Carla from the Homebody. This is their own hybrid. I mean, that new leaf, more veins are starting to come out. I am so excited for this one. So this one's going in personal. I want to say I'm mostly showing this to you because Paulina was asking me like how their little seedlings are doing. So this one's Carla Pap by Carla Dress. It has put out this leaf while I was away. And there's another leaf poking out of it. This seems quite wet, this substrate, but the roots look healthy and fine. And then this one is Carla Pap by FTG Self. Oh, see, this one I thought was quite interesting because the leaf before it, the newest one, had a really flat sinus. And if you guys know Josh's FTG Self, it's like one of the like textbook flat sinus beautiful ones. The newest leaf though is like a very classic fat heart shape. This one is definitely a prop that I will be selling, but it's just too small right now. But this one is a King of Spades red crystallinum that I got from Cartel. This one was a prop of it. This one is not, it's not a personal plant or for sale. This one is a plant that I'm trying to grow for Charmaine. And I'm just trying to bring her Ace of Spades. This is her dark form Ace of Spades back to life. So the top growth point had rotted and she was just like, I am so over this plant. So the whole top of the stem is squishy rotten. So I'm gonna leave this out. So this is basically a little, you know, activated axillary bud that poked out this leaf. It's actually pushing out a leaf right now. So I am going to get it out. I'm just gonna put it to the side. I'm gonna get it out and just make sure there's no other rot creeping into the stem. Just get rid of any extra rot from the main like Mary stem and then clean it up and get it back into this pot. But I think this little plantling on the side is doing fine. I just want to make sure because this is all she has left of her ace. This one is Red Crystal Port. The plant I had a massive one. I chopped it up and I traded it with Jorge and Therium Story. And this is the only tiny little, like it's the very, very, very bottom of the plant. This one is for sale though. This one is Ace Bevep. This little cutting finally put out a leaf while I was away. It actually put out a little bit of root somehow from the main stem, not from the new growth point. I'll have to decide. It's definitely a plant for sale. I just don't know if I'm gonna grow another leaf first and then sell it or not. I'll put it in the sale pile just in case. This is sad. Okay. I think it's salvageable. This is Leucobrium glaucum. Well, what you're seeing here is not Leucobrium glaucum. This is like volunteered moss from the substrate. Right here in the center is Leucobrium glaucum and it's really quite dry. I didn't realize it because I was just kind of like seeing from afar the volunteer moss and this looks so healthy. Actually, I do see some growth over here. So I'm going to wet this and I have heard that maybe they don't like fertilizer so much. I think I learned it from Benji who grows a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to wet this with regular water. I'm probably going to take back some of this reanimated moss just so I can monitor how the Leucobrium's doing. This is a very, very rooted Alocasia watsoniana that I need to pot up, but I, again, don't have pon. So I have to make up the pon and then pot up all my alocasias. This needs water as well, but I have so many alocasias that need repotting. Okay, I'll put this one in personal. This one is another stump that won't wake up. This might actually be, oh no, it's alive. It's alive. Oh my goodness. Well, that took like a year. This is a cutting of green form Ace of Spades and it finally produced growth. Oh my goodness. There's 2 growth points on this thing. It's so strange how it just popped out of here. Like both of them are popping out of this little like side shoot thing. Okay, well that's great. This is for sale because I have my main plant still, but I will water that a little bit. This I think might be dead. Oh, it's so rotty. Yeah, it's dead. This one is Minahasa by Blue Pap. If I dig down, all I'm seeing is really soft, mushy stems. So that's going in the compost. And this is Bigfoot Goliath, which, oh my goodness, this one needs just like a cleanup. There's rotted roots in here. It's got an active growth point, but it's not doing well. But I don't think I'm gonna keep it either. I should clean up all the rotted roots, repot it into fresh substrate, get it to grow one nice leaf, and then pass it on. This one's kind of the same story, but maybe a little bit further along in development. So I think, if I remember correctly, I had kind of cleaned this one up. This one is Dark Phoenix Goliath. And I think the top growth point had rotted off and it sprouted 2 separate growth points from below. And this one's quite dry. So this one just needs a few more leaves. This one is, oh my gosh, everything is so dry. This one is Tofu Getii. Isn't it so strange? This is like the tiny little straggling runty one, but it's always been giving me like really funny looking leaves and I just really want to see how it grows. It has also pupped. This one down here is a pup and this is the top growth point. But isn't it interesting? I don't plan on selling it, so I guess this will go into my personal. I'm just gonna water everything before I close it back up. By the way, this watering can has no fertilizer in it, so I'm just gonna fill the Lycobrium with a little bit of a reservoir. So my personal dome is quite full now. This is what the sales dome looks like now with everything put back in that's not ready quite yet. So this dome is almost all gonna be for sale. These are Dark Phoenix by PAP RA5. These are our seedlings I did with Jing last year. They're growing so well. I'm just gonna pick the biggest ones, like ones that are showing more PAP, and bring them with me. I think they're gonna be really cheap. I wanna say that means like basically all of them except for this one. This one had a bit of a hard time. I'm not really sure why. It's starting to grow a new leaf, but I think it just needs to reestablish itself because I potted these up. When was this? This is after I came back from holiday. So it's only been a couple of weeks, but they've been rooting out in here. And I have 5, 10, 15. So maybe at least like a dozen of them will be for sale. So I'm gonna just like leave this in its own bin and I'll just bring that with me. Now this bin is also my seedlings, but I have to just decide what I'm gonna keep. Oh, but there's one that's not mine. This is for Pau and Josh to look at. This one was also from them. This is Red Crystal by Carla, and it looks like this now. It looks like it's gonna be really fat and like really textured. Look how bumpy it is already. These are my PAP RA5 by Fortune and Ralph Lynam, and the ones I have left, I have because I think they're so pretty. Like, look how dark that is. Was this one my favorite? This one was hitting the lid of the dome, so it got a little bit wonky, but look at that one. Oh, I don't know. I might sell... Okay, my goal is to at least sell 2. I was gonna say 1, but should I sell 2? There's also this one, which is a little bit wider. Look at that emergent leaf. It's so maroony. And there's also this one, which also hit the lid. That's why it's like bent like this. But this one is super dark too. Look at that color. This is the newest leaf. That's the leaf prior to that. That one's so pretty as well. I think of the 2 really narrow and dark ones, I think I'll keep this one, the really narrow and dark one. I could maybe let go of this one. Oh, but it makes me a little sad. But both parent plants are here, so I could always do this cross again. Okay, my camera keeps dying and I have to wait for it to charge up again. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna go a little bit faster. I ended up going with these 2 that I'm gonna sell. So I ended up keeping the 2 really, really dark ones. I might still sell one of the really dark ones later, but right now I just can't bear to get rid of them. So this one and this one that got a little bit smushed, but this is what the other leaf looks like. Now this bin, I mostly just wanted to show you some of these like seedlings that we made that I'm not selling, but they're so cute. Okay, so Red Crystal Port by King of Spades. This is the only one of mine that's actually like growing nice and big. I mean, look how fat and juicy that looks. It really does look very King of Spadesy, but it also has like kind of pinkish veins. I don't know if it's showing up. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of roots. I can probably get this into a bigger pot sometime soon and just graduate it out of this bin. And also this Brielle Black Crystal, it was really runty at the beginning, so I kept it in this like little 2-inch pot. Look at that new leaf. It's so tiny, but so veiny, and it's pushed another one. So this one's gonna be ready to upsize soon too, but I'm so glad I kept this one. It's probably like the prettiest veins of all the seedlings, but it's like the farthest behind, but it's also growing really nicely. Like it's sizing up with each leaf. Like look at that size difference, that one, and then the leaf before it. It just took a little while, but it's finally getting there. And then this other one that looks really funny. It's not nearly as cute, but this one is double-headed, and look at this little turtle leaf. It looks like a little 6-pack. All the leaves are kind of like that on both growth points, but I'm going to separate these 2 because I can see lots of roots coming from both sides and just grow them independently of each other, because I don't think them being in one pot connected to each other is going to do much for their growth rate. So that'll be on my list of to-dos. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to let go of any of these seedlings up here. This is Dark Phoenix by King of Spades, and I feel like people will be interested in them. I repotted this before I went away, and they've been putting out new leaves since repotting, but they haven't really filled out the pot with roots. This is really dry, oh my gosh. But I'm thinking maybe I could let go of like one or two. This is what it looks like. That's the newest leaf on this one. I don't really see tons of roots though, but if I did, because I only have 8, maybe I would only let go of like 2. Some of them, I'm just gonna water it really quickly now. Some of them did not survive the repot. One of them did not survive the repot, I should say. So maybe I shouldn't let go of any yet, and I should grow it out a little bit more because I'm really curious how much King of Spades is gonna show through the Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix is such a strong parent. But yeah, so far, they just kind of look like this. I guess because this is a cross that I have no idea what to expect. It's not the same as my Carla, so maybe I'll hold on to all of them. So nothing is leaving this bin. And then I think the last prop I want to let go of is this Dark Phoenix. This is a cutting of my original Dark Phoenix, and it got a little tiny bit light bleached, but now that it's out from underneath the lights, it shouldn't get any worse. And it has been rooting in the pond, surprisingly, because it hasn't started rooting from the new growth yet. It's just been growing from like its original roots. This is going to be really heavy to ship, but I think it's going to be worth it because it's so cute. Look how puffy it is. I haven't sold cuttings on my Dark Phoenix in years. So this is the first one I've been letting go of in a long time. Let me just show you on my phone what we're working with. So these are the plants that we're going to be letting go of. Look at that. Oh, it's so cute. I think these are ready to go as is. This one just needs a little bit of cleaning. I have some hard water stains. So Carla or Ace Carla, my Paps, my Carla Bevep seedlings, not all of those, but a lot of them. Another Pap. Those 2 back there are not for sale yet. They're not, I mean, this is not for sale at all. This is Charmaine's Ace. That's another one that needs work. And then we have this whole bin of Dark Phoenix by Papari 5. So, you know, it doesn't fill up the whole bin, but it'll be good. And then now my prop bins look like this. So this is my personal one, so it's quite full. My for sale one is quite empty. So I could put some new plants in here. I mean, like the whole point of me organizing this was to make sure that they're separated, but there's all this space, right? I could also like probably graduate some of these out, like maybe the Fairytale Crystallinum can go into my tent or something. This is so dusty, oh my gosh. This little bin with the inverted bin lid, that's where the Dark Phoenix came out of. There's some stumps left in there, so I can put more stumps in there. I will be chopping some more plants soon, I think. The Pap bin, there's some space in here. This bin is quite full. This I need to clean through. There's some begonia props in here that didn't quite make it. This is a personal plant. This is a clarinervium. And then there's one begonia back there that is alive but thirsty. I was also thinking of moving some stuff out of this exo, this little exo that I use kind of like a holding area. I'm also thinking of getting rid of my bicolor. Look at this green on green fried egg. It's so green now. Like the variegation really does stay green. I want to hold on to that, but I can't repot it till I get more pon. This is a plant I want to repot. This is a very cute dark form forgetii that's super bumpy. I need to chop that for Owen. I was thinking of moving a plant like this out, my King of Spades out, and leaving this to be like a holding area for rehabs and new plants that maybe need to be quarantined or something. Because I think the King of Spades would look really cute, like, I don't know, maybe here, or maybe like right in the center here. Because I have a couple of plants coming that will not fit inside of a dome. They're actually quite big. At least one of them is quite big. So I'm gonna have to clear out enough space to hold at least like the size of this plant-ish. I will just rejig things, but as you can see, there's tons of empty space. I just need to consolidate a little bit and we'll be good. Anyways, the website restock is going to be sometime this week at the time I upload this video. I will leave the details in the description of like Jing's website, date, time, all that stuff. In the meantime, I really have my work cut out for me. Like I got to do tagging, numbering, I gotta do repotting of all the seedlings and make sure that they establish well. So I'm gonna do all of that today, this evening, and also tomorrow. But anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week will be all the new plants I got from the States that Charmaine's gonna bring by later today. I honestly don't really know what to film lately because I mentally am in like full-on productivity, home improvement mode. We're on the edge of deciding whether or not we want to renovate like by ourselves without having done renovations before. So I'm just in like a home improvement headspace and like plant chore headspace. I don't know if you guys are into watching kind of like mundane chores like this, but if you are, let me know. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. But I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!